Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the latest review, which I think is the 4th episode of the 4th season of Queen Sugar. So this episode started out with Nova giving directions to Micah, which is of course her nephew. She is going to have him to house sit because she's going to start doing little tours here and there for her book, because her book is coming out. Her book's coming out. Yeah. So, he was kind of like, well, I think he basically was trying to make it seem like it would be good for him to be over there and away from his mama from time to time anyway. And, I think she said something about not really having anybody over like that. He was like, well, you ain't got to worry about that. I ain't really talking to Kiki right now. His girlfriend is still not really talking to him like that because she's not into the new Micah that wants to fight at every turn. And I get it, but it's a lot to kind of deal with when he seems as though he just came out of nowhere and wanted to fight out of nowhere. Like, it's just a lot, and I understand her frustration. So yeah, so he was like, well, how are you doing, Aunt Nova? And so she was like, as best as can be expected, because nobody's talking to her, nobody's answering phone calls from her. She calls all the time and nobody's answering her. And so she was just like, I feel as though everybody is going to be able to move past this someday. And despite everybody giving her the silent treatment, she really thinks that some way they will be able to overcome this. And I'm just like, girl, I don't know about all that. So anyway, her Aunt Vi is at the house and she's up. So Hollywood coming where she at and was like, baby, where you at? What you been doing? You ain't been asleep, have you? And so she was like, no, I couldn't sleep. I had to get all these recipes out of my mind. And she over here lying like she just has had so many recipes for pies and things to come to her mind. So she wanted to make sure that she wrote everything down, when she is definitely still stirred up about the fact that she and other family members and people who are close to the family are in the book. And, a lot of stuff has been exposed and unearthed. So he was just like, no matter what's going on, I'm going to have your back. And, she was just like, I'm standing on my word. I don't want to do with her. I'm not talking to her. I don't want to discuss nothing dealing with her. I said what I said. I don't want to talk nothing about her. I don't want to talk about Jimmy Dale. I don't want to talk about neither one of them. So he was like, well, no matter what, I got your back. Gave her a kiss and went on about his business. So, y'all about to choke. Wait a minute. I get excited sometimes. So Charlie's idea about, that pop-up clinic, it has come to fruition, and her man, or whatever she really wants to say he is, I call him her man, he is excited about it. It has come along very well. And she was just like, it looks really, really good. And the volunteers came out of nowhere pretty quickly. And she was like, well, it's kind of light in here today. And so he was like, yeah, even though we've deemed this to be a safe place, a lot of people still are leery. And I get that. I would kind of be like, I don't know. They might have some people want to roll up in there and snatch me and try to deport me. Might be some people in there undercover that's ICE. So I get it. I don't blame them. But, they've gotten the word out. So more people will come. He has faith in that. So I was like, yes, you better do that. That's what I'm talking about. So, Micah showed up and he met the boyfriend. They were talking. And so then he went on by his business to continue doing stuff with the clinic. And that's when Micah and Charlie were talking. And she let him know that she handled the situation with the latest hate mail that was sent to him. And so he was like, really? Are you sure? And she was like, yeah, I handled it. I told you I have your back. So she ended up hugging him and they had their little moment. So I'm like, okay, all is not lost, despite what he's read in that book, because I know he completed that book. Despite what's in that book, he still, he's still talking to his mama a little bit. You know, he ain't all the way gone or whatever like his mama thought he was gonna be. So, all right. So yeah, y'all, tell me why. Vi was at work in the back. She was getting some pies and stuff ready. Ralph Angel is having this meeting with people who are former convicts and, you know, people who've been on the other side of the law. And, you know, they want redemption. They want to be able to work. And she's doing some pies and stuff for him. And so Hollywood coming back was like, what you doing back here? We need you up front and all this other stuff. And so she was like, no, I'm trying to get all this stuff ready for Ralph Angel. He's going to come by soon. I want this stuff to be perfect for him. So tell me why Rhonda, which is the main woman who like has always been there for Vi. She's really very, very much so like a staple in that restaurant. She came in with like one of those like pans full of dishes and utensils, and she dropped them. Vi went all the way off on this woman and was like, didn't I tell you? I was like, oh my gosh, no. Like yelled at this woman. And you know, she knows what's going on. So she's trying not to show that she is disappointed or hurt by what has been said to her. But yeah, I'm just like, girl, no. So, I mean, she went all the way off. Like, I felt that in my soul. Like, she was yelling at me. Like, she went off on the girl. So, Ralph Angel actually comes in from the back. And so she was like, hey, baby, what you doing here? What you going through the back for? And so he was like, your niece is out front again. So she ended up telling the same woman she just yelled at to go up front and handle that. So when she went up front, Nova was standing at the door trying to get in, just looking, because she knows she's not welcome on the inside of nothing. Nothing where her aunt owns, has a stake in, nothing. She's not allowed to step foot across any threshold associated with her aunt. So she came and greeted her. She was like, hey, Nova, how you doing? You know what the situation is. You know the drill. You can't come up in here. I don't care what you got to say. I already passed this message along before about what you tell me to tell them. And they was just like, no, I ain't trying to hit it and you got to go. So that's just what it is. So she sat there. She looked in a little bit, hoping to get a glimpse of them. And I think both of them were still in the back. And so it just is what it is. I don't know if they're going to be able to come back from that. But yeah. Whenever she comes around, she's not allowed to come in. Even to that diner, she's not allowed to come in. Ain't nobody serving her. She ain't allowed to come sit down. She ain't allowed to get nothing to drink. She ain't allowed to do nothing. So anyway, Ralph Angel, like I said, he met up with some people that are looking for a second chance. And he has developed this program entitled the Earnest Bordelon Reentry Program, which is for people who have had a criminal past, and they probably are going to, if not have already experienced a lot of trouble trying to get a legit job after they have been released. So he was talking to them and he was like, look, I named this after my father and all this other stuff. And so one of the guys was like, well, is this steady pay? And so he was like, look, he basically was like, it is what it is. You know how farmers get down, and a lot of y'all, a lot of us really, you know, the people, I'm talking as if I'm Ralph Angel, because I have never been to jail. I hope to never have to go there for any reason, whether it's false or something that went crazy in my mind and landed me in there. But anyway, he was making it seem as though, like, you know what we face. A lot of us end up going back in within 6 months after we've been released. So old dude was kind of acting like he understood. It was like, it's going to be what it is. So let me go ahead and fill out these applications. So they went in, wherever they was going to go get applications from, and eat pie. And it was like, well, dang, that's all you had to say? You got pie too? So, you know, seems like that's going to go okay. So Charlie is discussing with, I think the woman's name is Wanda. I might have it wrong. The woman she gets all of her little information from, as far as what is going on with this land that they purchased. What their name? Y'all, what's them people's names? Is it Boudreaux? Cause I always want to say Boudreaux, but I don't know. I might be saying it wrong. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Why can't I think of their name? Anyway, you know the people. You know who I'm talking about. No, Landry. I don't know. I always want to say Boudreaux. My bad, y'all. Landry. You know how the Landrys are. And they have Jacob Landry as like the face of it all at this point. So they have basically, from what was going on before when Charlie was trying to put a stop to the jails being built, that jail project, that was a state project, but the project that she's facing now is federal. And she was just like, look, it's a lot going on, and he is basically the face of all this stuff. They purchased that land, and it's going to be a highway route that's going to go through St. Joe, to the point of where a lot of these black farmers, their land is going to be gutted in order to have this created. So it's like, what? Like, y'all, it's too much. It's too much. So anyway, Nova has been calling Ralph Angel like crazy. So this particular message, she called him and was like, hey, Ralph Angel, I leave in 2 days. I love you and all that stuff. So, you know, as usual, she was like, I want you to call me back. Ain't nobody trying to call her back. I don't even know why she keep wasting her time. She talked to someone on the phone, and they were letting her know that, you know, the review that the Times did on her has now been turned into a 6-week book tour. And like, everybody is really, really, really excited about her book. It is probably going to be a bestseller in no time, considering it is a book that is a debut book for someone, someone who just came out with a book. Despite what work she's done in the past, for this to be her first book, she's getting a whole lot of press. She's getting a whole lot of notoriety. Like, it's going somewhere very fast. And she just was like, I need a minute. Like, okay. Y'all, so anyway, she has a national book tour. So she has to get her mind right. She got to leave. So Vi, in my mind, I know I'm wrong, but I'm just saying it. So they have a moment where Vi is back in the back again, like at the kitchen table, or at, she's at this table, and the woman, Rhonda, is right there. She was like, Rhonda, I just, you know, she did apologize to her earlier, but she was just like, you know, I just want to make sure I apologize again. You know, I yelled at you earlier, and, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you go to break early, get you, you know, I guess she extended her break a little bit more, and she was like, you know, before the lunch rush come in, go ahead and get you a break in. Like, she was very nice to her. I was like, oh, okay, girl. So the woman went on about her business, so she starts walking towards the front. So before she even gets to the door, she starts to hear Jimmy Dale's voice. So she was just like, I know this ain't who I think it is. Like, in her mind, like, that's the look on her face. She kind of looked fearful, and she was kind of like, I know this man did not have the gall to come back up in here. So she finally turned. She looked up in the door, and she realized that it's Prosper. So it was just Prosper talking. So I was just like, Lord. Because I thought Hollywood was going to really have to go ahead and kill this fool if he pop up. Like, Hollywood's the type that will go to prison for her. So I was like, please don't let Hollywood have to kill this man. So anyway, Charlie ended up meeting up with this councilwoman at the diner. She was talking to her, and she was like, you know, I need your backing, whatever. That woman was looking at her like, I can't help you no more. I can't help you do nothing. This is above me. I can't do nothing. I'm actually dropping out. I'm stepping down from my position. And so she looked at her like, what? And so she was like, oh, they've gotten to you. Of course the Landrys got to her. So she was like, look, this is above me. This is, you know, this is not something that I can fight. This is at federal level. So it's just a lot. And she was just like, look, despite what you were able to do with that other plan, that was state level, this is federal level, and this cannot be stopped. So later on, she ended up leaving where she was at and heading to go see Jacob Landry's mama. I guess that's who that is. She's back in town. So she pulled up on her wherever little country club she was at. And she offered a glass of wine to her, and of course she declined. And she was like, what is going on with all of this? And, you know, of course she was raising all kind of Cain, pun intended, about what was going on. And it just got to a point where, you know, her slight racism showed, and she was just like, you know, it wasn't too long ago that people like you had the privilege to clean toilets, but now you see how you were just able to walk across the grass and just come up to me. I wanted to reach through the screen and slap her. Like moments like that, I just be like, I cannot. And people be doing the most like this in real life, and they be catching it on film, and people be recording it live. And I just cannot, y'all. Anyway, then she read her because of what Nova put in her book. She was like, "Yeah, I read your sister's book." And I was like, oh my gosh. So the only thing that Charlie really could come back with was, yeah, I do know the basketball world and I know this world, and you would never be able to last a day in my world with the things that I know. And then she walked out. I was like, girl, she pulled your card just a little bit. So Darla and the guy that she's been dating, they are having a moment kind of discussing like which sounds better, vinyl or whatever. And so he actually has a vinyl record and he's playing the song for her, and they start dancing and she seems comfortable, or getting to be comfortable, in his arms, and I'm kind of happy or whatever. I don't know. So y'all, like I said before, excuse the foolish black people all around me that are popping off fireworks as if this state, this country cares about black people. But anyway, so yeah, they listen to music and they dancing. So I know this is random and they didn't go there in this episode, but it made me uncomfortable. So Blue was sitting on the lap of one of the people who Ralph Angel has hired, and apparently he was supposed to be trying to see if there was any kind of way he could kind of fix something that's going on with the tractor. I guess it was either a till machine, a tiller, or a tractor or whatever. I wasn't really paying attention. I guess it's a tractor, I don't know. But you know, he was asking him if he think he could fix it. But when he walked up, Blue was sitting on his lap, like turning the wheel or whatever. He doing like kids do. Like I used to do the same thing and all that. Like I've been on a big, huge, like high up tractor. Like tractors still tower over me as an adult, y'all. I've been on one. I was on my father's as a child. Anyway, y'all, I was just like, oh, that made me so uncomfortable. Like I don't like that. Because I was like, what was his background? I don't want him to be touching Blue. Like, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way that he was sitting on his lap like that. If anything, I would have made sure the keys weren't in it. And I would have been off to the side. And I would have let him sit down. Like, I would not touch him at all. Like, I don't like stuff like that. You barely had his job, sir. You barely had his job. Don't be touching my child. So anyway, I'm sorry. I had to get that out because that didn't sit well with me, because he was sitting in that man's lap. I ain't like that. So anyway, after he told Blue to go in the house to get cleaned up, he was talking to him. And like I said, he was trying to figure out, you know, is there any kind of way to salvage it or whatever. And then he was like, you know, man, I heard about you. I heard about what you got going on. He was like, well, what did you hear? So he was like, I heard that, you know, that ain't your child. My biological father was never there for me. And the way that you are there for him, he was, you know, like, I commend you for doing that and all this. And so it kind of made him feel good. So I don't know. I kind of feel like Ralph Angel, if he ever comes around to wanting to deal with Nova in any capacity again, he might be the first one to crack. But given the fact that all this stuff has gone on with his, I was about to say child's mother, but with Blue's mama, you know, it's a lot. Yeah, y'all, it's a lot. So before we even get to that part, the next thing that happened is that Micah is at home, and I didn't know who the text message was from earlier because I wasn't paying attention, and I didn't feel like really looking up in the screen like that. But apparently, Micah's daddy texted Charlie and said that he has a surprise for Micah. Can he come by later? And so she was like, fine. In the text message response to him. So he drops by and he brings the 13-year-old child that he had with some other woman to the house, and that was the surprise. So Charlie looking like, you know, and the little girl seems all nice or whatever. So Charlie is trying to, you know, have some constraint. And, you know, she's being, you know, cordial. She introduced herself and she told the girl that her name was a pretty name. Her name is Tia. And, you know, she tried to say that Charlie's name was pretty too. And she was like, oh, thank you. That's my nickname. It's short for Charlotte and all this other stuff. And so he was like, well, I came by. I was hoping that we'd all be able to go out to eat together and all this other stuff. And so Micah know his mama. Micah know his mama. And she was just looking like, yeah, I ain't got time for none of this. I ain't having no parts of this. So he was like, you want to go get a soda? And so they went in that other room to get a soda, right? And yeah, she went off on him and was like, I hope you don't think I'm about to take responsibility for this child. I'm not going to be some kind of surrogate mother for this child. And, you know, she's welcome to visit as much as she wants to, but I ain't raising your child. So he just sat up here and he was like, well, I'm just, you know, another part of my surprise, and, you know, I was going to let you know, is that I'm retiring and I'm getting a coaching job somewhere in Louisiana, right, y'all? And so that, I think that's what really aided in her setting it off the way she did, because it's kind of like, excuse me, y'all, it's kind of like you sitting up here retiring, and it seems like you want to sit up here and think, I'm about to take care of this child. My child is almost done being, you know, a child. He is basically grown. And you think I'm about to sit up here and care for your, I don't want to say mistake, but I'm just saying, he cheated on her and he had a baby with a whole other woman, like he did the most. We ain't together. It's bad enough he was cheating on me while we was together. Y'all, it was a lie. So anyway, Nova is out and about, and I'm guessing that she's somewhere in St. Joe or whatever, and she's doing press for her book. And the only person that showed up family-wise is Micah. They had 4 vacant seats right next to him, and nobody else showed up. And, you know, with good reason, I get it, so nobody else showed up. So she ends up being introduced, and she did an excerpt from the book that really wasn't in there at first, and she said she was scared to put it in there at first, but now she has the courage to speak on it. Y'all, it was basically about one day that her father was supposed to take her fishing. Now, when she first said that, I was like, you better not bust up out of nowhere talking about this man did something to you. Because I was about to set it all the way off and be like, I'm tired, I ain't got time. Y'all are doing too much up in here. Because I know that Ernest has a whole lot of secrets, and Vi loves to be in her feelings, trying to protect all the secrets that she knows about her brother. Y'all, so kind of find out, she was waiting on her father. He didn't come with any type of fishing equipment, no tackle box, no fishing rod, no nothing. So apparently he had been beaten to a pulp by a group of white guys. They have seen Nova and they wanted to do things with Nova, and he was willing to be beat up and not deal with that. So it got to a point where after that situation happened, he kept a really close eye on Nova. So one day, one thing that she actually liked to do was to, like in the middle of the night, she'd just go out into the sugarcane fields. And one night she went out there and her daddy didn't know she was out there. She saw him and she was wondering what he was doing. And he was digging this big old hole. And then, I mean, to make a long story short, despite the fact that she didn't really say it, it's plain as day that he killed someone and he dumped their body over in that hole, and she just went on about her business. And ever since that day, he didn't feel the need to watch her like a hawk anymore, because those people never came after her anymore. They never came after him anymore. So I don't know if he killed all of them and just put them in different spots, or if it was just that one guy, whatever. Anyway, he had killed somebody and dumped them over in the thing. So when it was over, people started clapping, and I was like, oh, so we just gonna sit up here and clap for this, as if y'all just didn't hear that her daddy committed murder, despite what, you know, it was surrounding. I thought people were gonna be like, oh, this is too much. Like, nobody do that. They were just like, oh my gosh, yes, yes, it was just so beautiful. It was, yes, yes. And I was like, oh Lord. But yeah, y'all, it was a lot. So after that was over, she was doing a book signing. Y'all, her ex showed up. I think her ex's name is Sasha or something like that. Y'all remember her? She used to be on, is it Smart Guy, the sister? Or was it, dang it. I can never remember what her name is. Like, it's like she's black, but her last name is like, y'all know how like Miguel, dang it, Miguel, the man who played Juwanna Mann, you know how he got a name that don't really sync up with what we see when we see him. Her name kind of do that too. I can't remember what her name is. I used to know her name off the top of my head anytime I thought of her. Anyway, she was in Smart Guy, I think, as the sister, and she was in 101 at one point in time. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But anyway, her ex showed up to the book signing. She was like, wow, I wasn't expecting to see you here. She was like, well, Nova, I support everything you do. You know, your words are beautiful, whatever. Y'all, it got to the point where she was like, you know, if you want, you know, we can meet up later to talk and discuss things. You know, how's your family, you know, dealing with this book release and what's going on in the book and all that, y'all. She kind of looking like, but she was like, you know, if you need to talk or if you want to do some things, I'm available. So she was like, well, I don't know, I have a lot to do. I don't know if I'll be able to do anything. And so she was like, well, you know, the offer's on the table, just let me know, you know, my number. So she ends up kissing her, and I was like, oh, nobody said anything about that. Oh, right, okay. And Nova looked like she was smitten, and I was just like, oh, okay, stop. Anyway, Darla has a copy of the book, and she has read the book. She sees what has been said in that book, and she is furious. She has shown up to Nova's doorstep, was like, how could you write about me in blue? And so she was like, well, I changed the name in the book. She changed her name to like Star. And she was like, you know that everybody in St. Joe will figure out that it's about me. Even if nobody else in the world knows about it, everybody in St. Joe will know it's about me in blue. And I was like, Lord have mercy. So she done went all the way off, and she told her, don't you touch me. Don't you ever say nothing to me. You can't touch my son. You can't be around my son or me ever again, and left. So, of course, Nova's in her feelings. She can't be in contact with anybody. And she straight up told her, I have been a low place. I have been very low. But you are lower than what I have ever been. And walked off on her. She got red. I was like, Nova, you got red down. Like, it's too much. So anyway, Micah came home, right? He came home and he was talking to his mama, and so she was like, well, how did everything go? And he was like, it was amazing. You guys should have been there. You should have seen it. So she was like, oh, okay. And so, you know, he was kind of telling her bits and pieces, and he was like, oh man, and told her about the part about her daddy. And so she was like, well, everybody already knows about dad. And so he was like, oh no, it's something that wasn't in the book, and told him about what it was a little bit. And she was just looking like, what? So y'all, it's a lot. It was to the point where Charlie met up with Vi and Ralph Angel and wanted Vi to explain to them what exactly are they talking about, and did he kill somebody definitely, or was this just some delusions of grandeur that she might have had because she was a child when all this happened. So Vi is being very defensive, and I'm just like, girl, why you always want to have a secret? Secrets kill people. Like when I was a child, it was just so many secrets. Y'all understand how it was killing me slowly. I had secrets. Once I freed those secrets, oh my gosh, it felt so good to not have all these crazy things bottled up on the inside. I'm just like, girl, you had all your secrets. You hold all your brother's secrets in. I mean, she done went all the way off on everybody. And so she was just like, you know, she always suspected that that's something that happened, but she never knew for certain. But then she stormed off like, y'all, she has been having fits of rage. And I understand that it might be associated with what she has going on, if she's on any medication for it. I don't know, but she's in her feelings. She's still very much so furious about the book because it's still new. It's just coming out to everybody else. It's been released. It's really out there now. So everybody has access to their life in a sense, y'all. So I forgot to mention that Nova Nova was at home and she was drinking her feelings and just in her feelings about what happened with her interaction with Darla. So she ends up calling her ex-girlfriend and she was like, you know, I think I might take you up on that offer. And so she was like, Nova is late. And so she was like, you know, I know. And so she was looking at her, like she looked at the phone, she paused for a second. She was like, look, I ain't got time for this. I told you that I'm trying to grow. You know where I live. If you wanted to do all this, you could have came over here. I shouldn't have to come to you all the time. You're like, all that. Like, it was a lot. So she was like, when you grow up, you can call me then or whatever. So she was in her feelings. And so Nova was like, you know what? You know, I'm just going to call it a night. Good night, Sasha. And I was like, girl. Girl, you so trifling. So anyway, the only thing that Vi said was what Nova basically said when she did that reading, which was after that fishing trip, she was always under a microscope as far as what her father was concerned. He would not take his eyes off of her. And after that situation happened, it's just out of nowhere, he stopped worrying. And, you know, he, you know, was not so every single second he's looking, trying to figure out where she is. So that's all she really knew for certain. And I was like, oh gosh, too much. And so she was like, look, not all dark corners need light. And she feels as though that situation and her situation with Jimmy Dale are situations that don't need light shining on them and bring them to the forefront. And I mean, I get it to a certain extent, but yeah. Y'all, Darla is so deep in her feelings that she done showed up at Ralph Angel house and she is crying down on the porch. And so she was like, she wrote about him in the book. She crying down, y'all. She wrote about us. She wrote about us. I was like, oh God, girl. She made me want to cry just a little bit. That girl was acting. I ain't gonna lie. She was acting in that moment. I was like, yeah. Hollywood is in the bed and he calls out for Vi. I was like, Vi, you coming to bed? She was like, yeah, I'm about to take a bath. And then I'd be right in. So he was like, okay. Y'all, next thing you hear is the water running. And she just sitting there like, like she's like trying to muffle her screams. Because of the way that she is feeling about all this stuff that is being revealed to the world about her family, all these secrets. And Hollywood usually is like Superman. He about to run in the air. He about to run in there after her and just console her and be like, don't worry about this. But in that moment, he knew she needs to be able to get out her feelings in her own way. She needs to sit there. She needs to sit in it. She needs to cry. And I'm that way too. I'm the type of person where I just need moments to myself sometimes to just cry it out. And then I'll be all right afterwards. Just let me cry a little bit and I'm good. So he was just sitting in there like he wished he could do more, but he knows that sometimes people just need to sit in a situation. So I was like, okay, cool. So Micah was dropped off by his mama. And apparently Davis, which is the ex-husband, had the daughter. And they were meeting up. And I guess Charlie is still not going to be open to really anything. And she sat there for a minute. And then she crunk up the car and left. But they met up and Micah hugged her and they were having their little family moment, but she was just like, I ain't having no parts of this, and she drove off. So no one is answering Nova's phone calls. Like ain't nobody here for her, and she just might as well be done right at this point. I mean, I get it, but girl, no. Everybody's tired of you right now. Too much is coming out. People rolling up on people out of nowhere and telling them they own business. Like, I would be in my feelings too. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, y'all. Nova has gotten a house. She's about to go do her tour. So we'll see what happened with that. I don't know. But anyway, I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. And I will see y'all on the next video. Bye.